Well, you're not going to believe this, but I was back there and I was explaining about the stream hosting, and I looked at my infotainment system and my stream dropped. Yeah, this is the Weather Monkey, southeast Minnesota. And I looked and my laptop screen was black. And I'm like, what the heck? So I tried to open it up and it wouldn't open. Come to find out, the battery went dead. I don't know why it wasn't charging, but it's charging now. So that should not happen again. So there was quite a good lightning storm. Uh, I did race east to try to get in front of the storm again. I'm not sure if I'm in front of it. But looking at the radar, it actually has diminished a little bit. Um, but we'll sit here for a little bit. I'm just south of Lewiston, Minnesota. And we'll see if we get any more of this storm to move through. So sorry about that battery going dead. It wasn't something I expected. But I guess I never really looked at it because I had it plugged in and I thought it was charging. So it could have been the cable. Who knows? But I'm back now, and there is a pretty good shower with some lightning coming up on me here. So we'll sit here for a little bit. Yeah, the heaviest part of that storm is moved beyond us. So I'm just sitting here waiting for the rest of the storm to show up here, and I think it's probably diminishing enough where that it's probably not going to be as rambunctious as it was earlier before my stream went. My MacBook Pro decided to go dead, but we'll see. There's a little bit more action near St. Charles. So I think if I go through, I think I'll do that. There's not much going on down here. Most of it's on the north side of the interstate now. So I think if I go north and then keep heading north, there's another heavier cell that we might move into. So let's do that. Once again, this is the Weather Monkey. I'm in southeast Minnesota. I was just sitting on an overpass over Interstate 90. And now I'm going to head north through the city of Lewiston. And then I'm going to continue north up to Altura. So I'll have to go back west a little bit and then head north. I want to welcome anybody who is watching, anybody who watched my first part of the stream, saw what it's like to be streaming and your MacBook Pro battery go dead. I had no idea it didn't have a charge. I had it plugged in and I thought it was charging. But you live and learn. It won't happen again. But I know I started talking about how a lot of the storm chasers have the telemetry, is it on the bottom of their feed, showing their destination or their location, temperature, direction, altitude even. And I've been looking to see how I can hook that up. And the only thing I can think of is there's a streaming service or a stream hosting service that they send their live stream to, and then the hosting service pushes it out to the platforms they want it on. And they insert that information at the hosting service. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what they do. If anybody knows, I probably spent 20 hours or more researching to try to figure out how that is accomplished. So if anybody knows and wants to let me know how it works, I'd appreciate it. So we're coming up on the town of Lewiston here. One thing I've noticed, all the information they put on the bottom of the screen, they conveniently leave out how fast they're going. Because they could put that on there too. If they're doing all this other stuff with GPS and location and this and that, they could put their speed limit on there too. So we're going through the west side of Lewiston at this time. rough railroad tracks. I should have went there for breakfast. As much as you want to eat breakfast. Probably better that I didn't go. Don't need the carbs. Don't need the calories. Hey, that storm we're on has already crossed the Mississippi River. So we'll head back west on Highway 14. And then we'll take a right turn and head farther north. Little water there on the side of the road. Well, if I had any salt embedded up in little crevices there, it's just got washed out. Once again, this is the Weather Monkey. I'm in southeast Minnesota. Out today doing some testing of my equipment. I guess I found out I should probably keep an eye on my battery on my laptop, because it decided to quit. Right when that storm was approaching. So that I decided to head east on Interstate 90, and I can't reboot everything and get everything going while I'm driving. But I didn't want to just sit and put everything back together, because by that time the storm would have overtaken us. So I decided to just head east till I got to a point where I could take an exit ramp and park and work on things. So that's what I did. Okay. Turn here. Head north. my shoulder hurts. My arm kept trying to go up in the air, and my hand kept trying to raise back there. That's weird. Like an involuntary nerve movement. As you can see, we're mid-April here, and things are starting to green up a little. I noticed a lot of the fruit trees are starting to get their blossoms. A lot of the silver maples are shedding their bud covers. I don't know what they're called. Get up here a little farther, I'll just turn around and park and wait for that storm. It's about 10 miles to the west right now. This looks like a good spot. Right up over this horizon here. Right there is a place I could park. There's another one right here. If this isn't a house. Nope, it's just some grain elevators. Usually there's a house with them. Not here. So, well, we can move forward a little bit. I thought I saw another field approach right over here. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, right here. We can sit right here. As you can see, the sky's a little darker over here. So it'd be nice to just sit here and listen to the radio or whatever, but honestly, I don't understand this. I created a stream. What was yesterday? It was a private stream. In other words, it doesn't get broadcast. The only one that can see it is me. So I let my radio play. I wasn't going to broadcast it. What's the difference if it's got music on it? Well, I got a copyright strike on my private video. So, I mean, all I'm going to do is watch it for a few minutes, see how things worked, and then delete it. Nobody sees it. Nobody saw it but me. So I don't know. I don't know what their policy is. I just know not to do that again. They sent me one time I did it by accident. They sent me through a live stream, and they sent me a notification saying that any money made off that stream will be given to the producer of the music. Good luck. I only had like 3 people watch it. I don't think there's any money being made off that stream. I'm not interested in demonetization of a stream. It doesn't make any difference to me. I don't do it for the money. I'm 69 years old, and at 69, you know, making money off your video is the least that you're interested in. Basically, this is a hobby, and I've always had a passion for chasing storms, and I've always been too busy. So that's why I do it now. Okay, now that storm that was to the west of us 10 miles is totally fallen apart. Let me see if there's anything farther back. Not really. So all the good lightning, because my battery went dead, we missed. Yeah. You would think with the sun and where it's positioned, you'd think that these storms would become stronger, but the farther east they go, the weaker they're getting. Looks like there's one more storm down near Spring Valley, but I don't think it's gonna amount to much. What would be nice after this is if the sun came out. And if the sun came out and it warmed up. Still on an east wind here. I think I just saw lightning. We'll watch that. We'll watch that storm down near Spring Valley for a minute. Take a look at the next scan and see if it's. Yeah, it did. It's thunder. Take a scan and see if it's intensifying or if it's going to do the same thing. Certainly don't need to sit here anymore. So we'll move, kind of head towards that Spring Valley storm. See what becomes of it. Got a vehicle coming up behind me. And I don't know. Looks like it's carrying hay. Two of them, actually. Yep, that one's trailer's sagging. Wonder who buys hay. Well, I suppose in another week, 2 weeks, they won't need the hay. They'll have enough in the fields growing for the cows to use, I would think. Once the grass starts growing, I don't know. Maybe they're selling it farther north, up in Canada or something. It's starting to get a little windier than it was earlier. Once again, this is the Weather Monkey. I'm in southeast Minnesota, pretty much the I-90 corridor from Rochester to La Crosse. And if you could be kind enough to like and subscribe, that's something I'd appreciate. Or if you want to drop me an email at weathermonkey, or shall I say weathermonkey@mail.com. That one bale of hay could fall off of there so easily. Yeah, they got it tightened down there, but it's already hanging off the back of the trailer. So that weight is being forced down. I don't know what that was about. My phone had my radar on, just did something weird, like I wasn't using it. Okay, navigation, storm chase mode. I don't know why it did what it did, but But it definitely did. Now it's reloading everything. Huh. Okay, that's fine. Just get everything going again. Gives me a chance. Gives me a chance to look at the still images. Yeah, that storm near Spring Valley is moving this way. Put it back in motion. If you see that flag over there, that flag's really whipping. And the wind is out of the east. So these storms are pulling this air into them. Interesting. So we'll head down the road a little farther south. Okay. But yeah, that wind is blowing pretty good. I don't know. I don't know why there's a stop sign here. Certainly not taking that road. wind pulling me across the road. I didn't let go of the steering wheel, but I kind of let the car go where the wind would take it. And yeah, it started blowing me across the road. I'd like to welcome everybody. This is the Weather Monkey. I'm in southeast Minnesota. Right now I'm about 2 miles south, or excuse me, 2 miles north of Interstate 90, between St. Charles and the Winona exit. And there was a complex of moderate storms that moved through. They had some really nice lightning in them, but they moved off to the east. And there's another complex that seems to be developing. I don't know if it'll hold together or not, about 20-25 miles south and west of me. So I'm going to go back up to the interstate. And wait there and see what happens. I said in my last stream today before my battery went dead that I bought a cell phone booster, and I was explaining that if there's no signal at all, it's not going to bring a signal in. But if there's a bar and it's kind of going back and forth between the bar and no bar, it'll bring you at least a bar consistently. Sometimes 2-3 bars. I've been in places where without the cell phone booster, you couldn't call anybody, you couldn't text anybody. But with the booster on, I could actually stream. And of course, everyone knows streaming takes a lot more than texting or calling somebody. So it works. It takes you into and helps you in areas where the signal disappears on you. Like you're going down the road and it gets weaker and weaker and weaker, and then all of a sudden it quits. It'll hold that signal, which I thought was a good concept. I call it dragging the signal, because once you have the signal, if you go through an area that doesn't, it'll actually hold the signal longer. There's a small town in a valley about 5 miles from where I live. You go through that valley, you never have a signal. It's a small town called Stockton. It's in a valley. It's quite isolated. Well, I've noticed when I have my cell phone booster on, I don't lose the signal. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I have the minimalist antenna on my roof. It's only about 3 inches high. It's flat, about 3 inches high, maybe an inch and a half wide. And it seems to work. The company's product I use is WeBoost. There's several other companies that make cell phone boosters. And what it does is it takes the signal from your antenna on your roof, which is a plus up right there because you're not in a steel cage. Takes the antenna from the signal on coming in, takes it in on the roof, brings it down to an amplifier. That amplifier amplifies the signal and then sends it through another wire to a transponder, which outputs the signal. And then the products you have with you, doesn't make any difference how many people are with you. You have a Wi-Fi, you have a router, you have your cell phone. It'll give all those service at the same time. So it's good in that respect. So as long as you got a chance of a signal, it will pull that signal in. Like I said, I call it dragging it with you, because we're all in areas with a signal that we go into an area with no signal and you lose it. Where with this system, it seems to hold it. And if it's a 2-mile, 3-mile stretch between picking up the next tower without the booster, it will carry it through to the next tower. So that's good to know. So I took a right turn up there. I probably should have just kept going straight. But I wanted to kind of angle myself towards that storm coming out of Spring Valley, Chatfield. There's actually blue sky to the west and north of me. I'm heading southwest right now. I think I'm going to turn around and go back because I think that storm's going to go to the south of me, and where I am right here, I'm going to miss it. So I'm going to turn around up here, go back the other way. I have a Ford Bronco Sport. Gotta say Sport, because it's not the Ford Bronco. And what I like about it is the tight turning radius. I had a Ford Explorer like a 2003, and it had a really tight turning radius also. And I really like that because you can just turn around on the road. You don't have to worry about doing a 3-point turn. So now I'm back on the road again. We'll take this road here and we'll see how my cell service is. This is a town called Fremont. Actually, that that house back there had a cell phone booster on it. So he's probably just on the fringe of his service. I guess out west in like Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, Montana, a lot of people use cell phone boosters. It just gives them that little bit extra signal. I don't know why, but for some reason, I keep losing my tracking on my phone. I think it's still working. I think it's still working on the laptop. Yeah, if I drive far enough south here, which is only a few miles, I should be lined up for that storm. Once again, this is the Weather Monkey. If you could like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Rain is much needed. We didn't get a whole lot of snow this winter. So any moisture we get now will help make up for that. And it's too early for the farmers to actually plant anything. So if the fields are wet for a few days now, that's fine. You just don't want it 2 weeks, the rain. That's what I think anyways. But then, what do I know? You know, I've got 2 bars, but I would be willing to bet where I'm at right now have any. And I'm not going any farther because I'm down to 1 bar. So this looks like a private driveway here. So, and of course, normally the instant you park somewhere, normally the instant you park somewhere, somebody will pull out, want to get out of their driveway. So, so we'll head back a little. We'll head up along this curve here. And we'll sit here and we'll wait and see if the storm makes it here. It's not that far away. It's a good spot right here. Turn around. Go back there maybe a little bit and park. Or we could go up a little farther. We'll go up a little farther. And that sun's kind of bright. I mean, not the sun. The sky is kind of bright. But it should come back. Okay. Let's go right here. Is this a road? Grover Road. We'll take Grover Road. How's that? Kind of soft on the sides. We'll go up a little farther. Trying to figure out why. There it goes. My screen got too bright there for a minute. Well, this is interesting. They put a Y here. Some people say why, others say why not. that storm is passing to the south of us. So I could have kept going south, but if I'd have kept going south, I'd have lost the signal. And if I lose the signal, what's the point? So I'm going to turn around here, go back north. I thought it would move a little bit farther north, but it hasn't. I'm going to get a little bright again because at north, we shall see. Once again, this is the Weather Monkey. I'm in southeast Minnesota along the I-90 corridor between St. Charles and Winona. I was heading south to pick up a small thunderstorm, but it seems to be decreasing in strength, and I was going into a really no signal cell area. So I decided to turn around. If there had been really something to record, play back later, I'd have kept going, but not for a garden variety thunderstorm. Now we're pretty much out of the rain. So pretty much out of the rain now. There's a few sprinkles, but not much. Well, if I had my wife with me, I might have stopped in there. Little restaurant sitting there. So we'll get back on the interstate and shoot east. Kind of look around for anything else developing out of this. The only other storms that are developing out of this are over south of Albert Lee. So, and for the most part, the storms that came through earlier are getting weaker. So I'm just going to end the stream. Everyone have a good afternoon, and I'll see you next time.